up, everyone? It's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught my eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this, shall we? Because Megxie has entered the $100 million Netflix fiasco. They're like, it's payback time, Duchess. According to a Royal Insider, here we go. Sun exclusive. Megxie's jam rage is so out of touch that Netflix just wants its £100 million back. Now, let me be very clear on this, okay? Jam is not her jam. She legally cannot actually call her jam. She has to call it spread. Why? Because she doesn't have the correct ratio of ingredients within her product to actually be able to call it jam or even preserve. She has to call it spread. So when she said earlier on this year that jam's my jam, no, it really isn't, Megxie. It really literally isn't. But here we go, okay? So Meghan Markle, she left apparently a lot of people disappointed after everything sold out within the first hour of her range going live earlier on this month. Royal experts have criticised that her products are out of touch, particularly given that her jars of jam ranged from £11 to double, which was £22 for a limited edition honey one. Speaking on the Sun's Royal exclusive, you've got news commentator Samara Gill saying, I don't know what world she thinks she's living in right now. She hasn't stepped foot outside the gates of Montecito to understand that. I don't know if your average American is going to be dishing out $14 for a pot of jam, or it's not really jam. It's a strawberry preserve, of course, but I think the whole lineup is really out of touch. It's not even strawberry preserve, it's spread. Again, to call something a preserve, it still has to have a specific ratio of ingredients inside. She can't even call it that. It has to be spread. But then she says no one's paying £12 or $12 for some tea. Now, let's be completely honest here. And again, let's keep the same energy. Flamingo Estates, they sell jars of honey and jam and things like that. And their limited edition jars can sell like $100, $200. Okay? So let's be real on this, all right? That's pretty extortionate. Megxie's jams are extortionate as well. Let's be real here. 11, 12 quid for a jar of jam. 22 quid for a jar of honey. Who the fuck does she think she is, right? Especially when you can get, what, a jar of jam for like 5, 6 quid from King Charles, right? Come on. She's doubling her price point against King Charles. She thinks that her spread is better than King Charles's jam. Come the frick on. Let's be real here, right? Anywho, either way, it is still an extortionate amount for a jar of jam. But again, Flamingo Estates, their jars can cost $100, $200 a jar. So let's keep things a little bit in perspective here. But no one's paying £12 or $12 for some tea. Yeah. You looked at the Royal Family. They sell their own strawberry preserve. They sell that for about £3. I think it's a little bit more accessible. They actually sell for about 5, 6 quid. But yeah, it's still more accessible than Megxie doubling her raspberry, strawberry preserve, whatever spread, whatever the frick she's calling it, right? Because she can't call it preserve and she can't call it jam. Basically her red slop, okay? She is selling her red freaking slop for double the amount the Royal Family pay, the Royal Family sell their own jams for. Yeah. I would rather have King Charles's jam than Megxie's red slop. Let's put it that way, okay, guys? But everything sold out, or did it? Did it? It's been debated whether Megxie used a marketing ploy to make a small amount available so it all gets bought, and then she can say it's so popular it's sold out, which I believe is really the case here. We all know that she sent jars of jam last year and dog biscuits under the moniker of American Riviera, whatever, which we all know she had to then abandon. But Samara continued that with her original jam rollout, it's one of 50 that she was giving to her friends. I think it's going to be this exclusive type of range, and I'm sure they've kept the numbers small just to make sure that they don't. They've kept the numbers small because if they actually tried to sell what a normal startup business would try and sell, which is at least like what, 1,000 of this and 1,000 of that, right? She wouldn't sell out. And she'd have that embarrassment of things still being up for sale a couple of days later. Let's be real, okay? Now, royal author Phil Dampier claims that Netflix is now keen to get some of their money back. So here we're going to get into now how Netflix, according to this royal insider, is like, they want their $100 million back now. They're done. He explained, I think having invested $100 million in the shows that they did and the thing about Polo, which universally panned, but I mean, they've obviously made a decision. They're going to stick with them for the time being. They're going to go for it, and they're going in for a penny, in for a pound. And you know, if they can get some money back with the merchandising, great. Now, Samara agreed, saying, well, has she a fakery when she sort of announced the cobbled together collaboration of her and Netflix? We know that this was a last-minute decision. And I got a feeling that it was. I mean, it was reported last year that Megxie tried to negotiate a deal with Netflix that they would somehow partner up with her on a brand and take it over, for them to be the CEO, for them essentially to do all the work, and Megxie would essentially be the face of it. That's really how the story went from what I remember. In the end, towards the end of last year, it's then announced that Megxie's appointed herself as CEO because no one else wanted to take the job and work for her because the rumours that she's a dictator in high heels. Enough said, right? And now Netflix are in. Essentially, it's like a passive partner, really. As she's doing all the work and Netflix are just there just to try and help with distribution. That's really it from what I gather. But Netflix now, yeah, according to Samara, is like, nah, they want this money back. Saying they're trying to get some of that $100 million that they ploughed into this disaster back. They know that I think with their help, she'll be able to actually get some products out there, because I know that they were also having trouble even with production. Like I said, Netflix is just a passive partner. They're just there just to help with distribution for Megxie. That's really it. I think they're going to put these jams and whatever comes after that, tea towels, clothes, into the store and try and recoil some of the funds that they've got. It's not this amazing collaboration that's going to create a dynastical fortune for them. It's just them groveling, groveling to get their $100 million back, because they're finally woken up and realised that they're in a nightmare situation. They've ploughed all this money into Megxie and Azza, and they haven't got really much to show for it coming back. Like a Netflix insider said after filming With Love Meghan, and again, I reported that on my channel months ago. They were like, do you know what? We were behind the scenes with her, helping her on production, this, that, and the other, and guess what? The end product ain't worth the hassle. Ain't worth the hassle that we get from her. It just ain't worth it. She's a fucking nightmare. Yeah, there's a pattern coming on. You see what's going on here? Now, before we go any further, Melinda Sun, thank you so much for the $1.99 sugar bucks. Are my favourite. Virgin Doggy Fat Nice moment. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. Now, am I surprised that Netflix is now desperate to get their $100 million back and try and recoup some of the losses that Hazza and Megxie, as far as I'm concerned, have caused them? Oh, hell yeah. Is this a desperate attempt for Netflix to try and get their money back by partnering in some way or form with Megxie on a brand? Hell yeah. Yeah. Because it's the first time they've ever done it. They're that desperate to get their money back that they're partnering with her. Not good, not good. They're wanting their $100 million back. They're knocking on Megxie's door. It's payback time, biatch. We want our money back, Duchess. Gimme. Thank you, Chris Mills, for the very, very wonderful £10 sugar bucks, saying, apparently Klepto Meg's dried flowers are identical to bulk rabbit food dried flowers. Do you think she's rebagging rabbit food like a pretzels? I've seen that. Oh my goodness, dude, I saw that on Twitter and the comparison is uncanny. It definitely looks like rabbit food dried flowers. And do you know what? It got me thinking. So you guys know, for ages now, I've been like, we're going to do these jam wars. I'm going to get Megsy's spread, okay? And we're going to do the jam wars. I'm going to find out which one's better. Megsy's spread, the King's jam, the small batch company jam, the Californian jam that Megsy was accused of ripping off at one point, and proper homegrown Yorkshire jam. Which one's better? Those jam wars are coming. When Megsy actually does a launch, when there's more than, let's say, 10 products in each bit, then yeah, I've always said I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a jar jam from Megsy. I'm going to do the long-awaited jam wars. The other thing that I'm thinking of doing is getting that rabbit food, dried flowers, and getting her dried flowers, Megsy's dried flowers, and doing a comparison taste test. I'm really, really thinking of doing that. What do you guys? What do you guys think? Should I do that? If you're watching on the replay, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're watching live, let me know in the live chat right now. Should I do that? Should I continue with the jam wars? And should I start the dried flowers wars? The flower wars. We'll just call it the flower wars. Let me know, you guys. With that being said, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I am not done with you yet, because we're going to be coming up to today's bonus story for the Daily Nerd Live. Yes, Meghan Markle's Royal Club snub. The owners have banned her. Which royal club has she been banned from? Guys, stay tuned for the bonus Hazard and Megsy story if you're watching live, because it's absolutely hilarious. But for those watching on the replay and live, if you haven't done so already and you want more, and of course you want more, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do you guys still want me to do the jam wars? Do you also want me to do the dried flower wars? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.